What's up, sports fans? Welcome to Court Vision, brought to you by War Room Sports in conjunction with the Sports Kings. I'm Jimmy at JW The Blueprint, and with me at the round table, I have Andy from the Sports Kings. How are you, sir?
I'm great. How's it going?
I mean, I could be better. My Lakers stink, but, we here. B. Austin from War Room Sports. What's up, B?
Yo, FIBA offered me $3 million over 3 years, but I got to feed my family, so I had to turn it down.
All right, no doubt. From War Room Sports, we got Dev. What's going on?
82-0.
The dream is still alive.
It is what
From
it
the
is.
Sports Kings, we have Frank, a.k.a. SK Lord Santos. Don't forget the Lord. What's up, Frank?
Don't forget the Lord. Shout out to Nas, most underrated rapper of all time.
Oh, yeah.
True.
I mean, I don't know if I would consider him underrated, though. I mean, he may be the greatest or amongst the greatest, but
He's
you think really
underrated. He's underrated by Jay-Z fans.
Yeah. Do I have to have Dev explain this to you again? Underrated and overrated?
I get it. But I mean, I always see Nas ranked in the top 5, so that's all I'm saying. Like,
It depends on the circle.
That's underrated.
I mean,
Top 3.
You're talking to Jay-Z fans, and that's different, but, Anyway, with that being said, we are here. He said Nas -2. Yo, Rakim the greatest ever, and that's like, and I'm not even debating it. Yo, it's Rakim or die. Anyway, listen, we're here to talk about basketball though, not hip hop. Although I always enjoy hip hop
Basketball is
conversation.
hip-hop.
Same thing.
I mean, you could say that. Many people do say that, but we have 1 week in the can in terms of the NBA season. There's a lot of surprises, and I just want to get you guys' take on the first week. What has surprised you? What are you not surprised about, and what were what did you enjoy most seeing this week? I know what Dev's going to say, so let's start with Andy. What do you think about the first week, Andy?
I mean, I think the first week is, been exactly what I expected the first week to be in terms of excitement. I mean, I know everybody that's an NBA head is, really enjoying the action picking back up. The first week's always kind of emotional for everyone, I think, a little bit because, it's been a long time since we've seen the NBA. But, I mean, Dev's Sixers look good. I gotta say, my boy, is it safe to say he's my boy now, Michael Carter-Williams?
I mean, you did pick him. You picked him to be the Rookie of the Year.
You're the only person who went out on a limb for him. So
I think Frank still thinks he's gonna be playing in Istanbul in like 2 years.
Michael Carter Farmar. That's what I call him.
Oh, that's such a bad comparison.
Michael Carter Farmar.
Yeah.
Hey, as a matter of fact, let's jump right to Frank because Frank, you were not. How could I put this?
He's still not.
You basically disrespected Michael Carter Williams. You said that he'd be playing in a foreign league in a couple of years. Have you changed your mind, or you still think he's trash truck juice?
No, I mean, I did change my mind. I'm ready to delay the scheduled flight to Istanbul to like 2019, to 2017. But aside from that, I mean, you can't really go off 3 games. He's looked good. I'm not gonna lie. He's looked very good. But you can't go off 3 games. If that were the case, then the Nets would be out of the playoffs and the Sixers would be hosting the Eastern Conference Finals.
Championship.
B. Austin. Watching the first week of the season, what were your takeaways?
MCW may be the truth, and you can get a nickname if you get 6 steals against the world champions in the first run out.
9 steals.
9, excuse me. I apologize to MCW for shorting him 3 steals. The Bulls still have the same problems as before Derrick Rose left. Brooklyn is probably the 3rd best team in the East. Dwight Howard is truly a man of low character because now that the pressure is off, he's decided to ball in Houston. But when he was in LA under the bright lights, he looked like I ain't gonna say
maybe his back just not hurting anymore.
Yeah, there was no injuries at all.
No, so you're saying he had no spine. No spine. I agree. His back wasn't there. Yes, no spine. Yes, no spine.
All right, let's give Dev a chance to give his takeaways. He's excited about MCW. I forgot.
Oh yeah, hold. Light-skinned brothers are back.
Hey, look, man, the Sixers. They so far. I think they'll eventually come back down to earth. So we're not totally out of the Wiggins sweepstakes. There's a lot of people excited out there, but as far as what are we calling them these days? MCW. I don't think, I agree, Frank. 3 games not going to tell you all you need to know about somebody, but what I can take away from a start like this, from a wet behind the ear rookie, is that he can definitely play in this league. So he'll just like the team. He'll hit that rookie wall and he'll come tumbling back down to earth for a few games. But I definitely think he could play in the league. And to address B. Austin and his point about the Chicago Bulls, that's one of my disappointments so far because, as you guys know, in the last episode, I picked them to actually win the championship. But it seems like with having Rose back, they're a worse team than they were last year. And I say team with an emphasis on team because now that they have their superstar back, I don't know. It just doesn't look like the same cohesive unit as it was last year when everybody had to pick their games up in his absence. So they just have to work on playing.
It's back to give him the ball and everybody watch.
It is. Yep, they've went back to bad habits.
And he's shooting poorly, so that's not working for him.
Didn't he say his game was better now? He said
all right, well, hold on, though. Here are my takeaways from this first week. In reference to the Sixers, I have been impressed at just how hard they play because a lot of these games they were getting killed, but they don't quit. They don't give up and they keep playing. So you got to give them credit for that. In terms of MCW, Dev's right. He can play in this league. I just don't know if he can be a part of a championship team because I don't remember the last time a team's best player was light-skinned, a wing player, and they won a championship. Light-skinned players can't win championships. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, with that being said, also the Chicago Bulls. You guys are absolutely right. In other news, one thing that pissed me off about this is, of course, I have the NBA ticket, so you get to watch everything. But when I look at the national games, Joe, it's the same teams over and over again. And, of course, I'm a Lakers fan, so I like to see my team on the national stage. But we stink right now. And we seem to be on every national game. But there are a lot of exciting young teams that just don't get to play. And, I understand it's about ratings.
Golden State.
But Golden State, Minnesota, Minnesota.
Golden State is getting their share of
Golden State is starting to get their net. Yeah, they're starting to get their share. But there are a lot of other teams, man, that it's exciting to watch. And, unless you have the tickets, you won't see them.
Portland's one.
Oh, yeah.
Portland's one. Even Cleveland. I like watching Cleveland play. And they don't come on, but Kyrie Irving. Simple as that.
Yeah, that boy Kyrie's bad.
Not Andrew Bynum.
Andrew Bynum looks like the Michelin Man right now. He didn't miss a meal at all.
Hey, if you like watching Cleveland, look out for that kid Dion Wade.
Yeah,
Dion Wade has got a lot of swaggy P in him. Very swaggy P-ish.
Shoot whenever I feel like it.
What is Swaggy P even doing? What is that guy's purpose?
What do you think he's doing?
He's not taking advantage of his opportunity right now to shine as a Laker. He's definitely not doing that.
The Lakers need to go out and get JaVale McGee, bring him back, reunite those two, so at least it's fun to watch.
JaVale out there already shacking a fool.
Already running people over.
Swaggy P does one thing, and that's shoot. And that's all Swaggy P does.
He's shooting right now.
I didn't say he makes his shots. I just said shooting.
What are you guys' thoughts on the 2-2 NBA champion, the Miami Heat? One of their losses were to the Sixers. Dwayne Wade did take that night off. I think they kind of thought second game of a back-to-back. It's only the Philadelphia 76ers. We beat them 15 straight times. We won't need them. But at the moment they're 2-2. We know this isn't a team that you need to panic about, but have you guys seen anything that further makes you believe that they might not have what it takes this year to win the title?
No.
I always thought the Heat were vulnerable.
Nothing.
I always thought they were vulnerable to begin with, so it really doesn't surprise me. We talked about this last week. Mm-hmm. They have issues. They've just been masked because they won the championship last year. They should not have won the championship last year. I think all of us can agree on that. There was a 2% chance they had to win that Game 6. Late in that game. But I think they really did a disservice to their franchise and their fans by not – obviously I'm not an insider, so I don't know if they did or not, but I think they should have explored trying to trade Chris Bosh. I think he would have gotten them good value, and I think the parts they could have gotten back would have made them a better team this year.
I don't think so. I think they should have – that's going to sound crazy and blasphemous. They should have tried to get rid of D. Wade. They play best with Bosh in the lineup when Bosh and LeBron are playing without Wade. But I don't know what you can get for an aging D Wade, but You know,
Right.
the
That's what I mean. I think Bosch has more value.
I mean,
Like,
possibly, but the Bulls would have gave up something that they probably shouldn't have to get D Wade on that team.
Yeah.
And he probably could have helped them too. He probably could have helped them, to be honest with you. But at the end of the day, like
gave
when
up Jimmy Butler with that bird's nest on his head.
I see.
That's another takeaway from week 1 is there are no good barbers in Chicago because their lineup, like, you know, all the way down, like Jimmy Butler has a bee's nest in his head. D Rose is, I don't know what D Rose has in his head, like it's just terrible. But anyway, Frank, to your point though, I think they should have kept Bosch, because him and LeBron together, if you watch when D Wade is not on the floor, they play very well. In terms of them winning a championship, every championship I see in most sports they did get lucky in Game 6, but it is what it is. As of right now, I don't think they're completely out of it. They have the best player on the planet on their team, so they're going to be in the mix. Whether they're like, you know, a clear-cut favorite at this point, that remains to be seen because the other teams that were supposed to dethrone them in the East, they don't look that great either. You're talking about the Bulls. I mean, Indiana
Paul George is getting scarier.
Indiana looks good, and Lance Stevenson's getting scarier too.
Yeah, I mean, Indiana.
Because Lance Stevens is actually making his jump shot.
See, this is why it's so hard to say in the first week because I was getting ready to make a statement like, well, Indiana didn't play anybody, but neither did Miami, and they lose anyway. So so that's the thing. You really can't make that statement.
Right, that's my biggest takeaway from the first week is, you know, the young teams get pumped for the beginning of the season. Like you're seeing the Suns and the Sixers and all these young teams come out blazing. You got these old teams like the Heat and the Nets, and I mean, there's another really good team I believe it's 1 and 2. Might be Chicago.
Chicago.
Yeah, Chicago is 1 and 2, right? I thought so.
Top 3 teams.
Yeah, they know it's a marathon. You know what I mean? They know they're not getting upset that they're 1 and 2. They don't care. The young teams are the ones that are trying to come out and make a statement.
Yeah, they're happy that they're 3-0.
That's the one thing people don't realize about tanking. When we talk about tanking, tanking is
excited.
Yo, listen, I tell you this. I'm in Philadelphia, right? And MCW, as we're calling him now, like they've already started trying to give him the keys to the city. It's ridiculous. I mean,
3 games in.
Yo, 3 games in, he's on the front page of the paper. You have women making box offerings. It's just getting out of control.
The funny thing was,
and I don't think he comes from a background that's going to be conducive to him really getting his yam farm on, at least until a veteran shows him the rope of how to yam farm in the league. But to your point, Jimmy, I think with the Heat, I see both perspectives. I think that the Heat would have been better off trying to come up with another scoring big to put on their bench. Somebody that they can run offense through when Bosch is out of the game or when LeBron is out of the game. I definitely think that I would say, okay, could you get rid of Wade? Theoretically, you get rid of Wade, but LeBron and Wade kind of have like a Catino, Mobley, Steve Francis relationship going on. So I don't think that can really happen. I don't think that either one of them would allow the other to go anywhere. So I just, and I definitely think that while there is why are you guys laughing at Steve and Catino? I mean, those are 2 guys that had a great relationship.
Finish your point, man.
I definitely think that while they have weaknesses on their front line and with their big men, there's nothing that we've seen out there to indicate that anyone will be able to exploit that. They've been able to get away with it for 2 chips. So I just don't see, is Indiana coming? Can Roy Hibbert, can Roy Hibbert be the reason, can he improve and be that dominant low post with David West? I don't know.
I still think with Miami, it's going to be all about health because unlike some other team, I don't think they can lose one of those 3 guys and still be.
Oh, I got an observation. I got one.
Hold on.
Because remember, Indiana's whole run was without Danny Granger last year.
Yo, let me make one point, though. I think, Dev, do you know something we don't know? Because you've been talking about somebody in the Heat getting hurt for like 18 months. Like, I think Dev got some voodoo dolls. He got some voodoo dolls in his crib or something. He's like, yeah. Because when somebody gets
banana
hurt.
peels at LeBron's house.
Yeah, he's like.
Banana peels all over the place.
He's like wishing injury on him. He's been doing it
No,
for like
I'm not wishing injury on him. I'm just saying the way they structured that team, they're one injury away.
Yo, I think think that could be said with every team in the NBA.
Yeah.
No, but that's why I've named some of the better teams. I mean, you even had Chicago. They didn't make it, where they wanted to, but look what they did without Derrick Rose.
Yeah, but nobody thought they were going to win, though.
Yeah, exactly.
Indiana made their whole run without Danny Granger. Before
but if Paul George goes down, they don't make that run.
No, but I mean, at that point, everybody thought Granger was their best player. And
if Michael Jordan went down in the 90s, the Bulls wouldn't have been a dynasty. I just want to throw that out there.
It's tough. Yeah, that kind of stuff's really tough to say. I mean, I think the thing when you talk about Miami is the fact that Indiana, Chicago, Brooklyn, those teams up and down 1 through 8, 1 through 7 guys are probably better for sure as as one unit, but Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh, and LeBron James, that 1, 2, 3, that 3-punch combo. I mean, any day of the week, you give me those 3 guys over any 3 guys on a team in the league, and I'll bet my money. But I just feel like these other teams are more defensive-minded and more cohesive. But I just feel like the big 3 is the big. So 3.
You would take them over MCW, Evan Turner, and Thaddeus Young?
Oh,
Evan Turner's balling
I might have to.
Jimmy,
I mean, and they are, and I like those young guys. I mean, but no, definitely not. I mean, obviously, it's.
I get your point though, because you're absolutely right. That's what it tilts it once you add those players into the mix. But the thing about the Heat, and they've always done this, they feel like they have a button they can push. And it's sad to say, but that's how they pretty much have been doing it.
It's LeBron James.
Push the LeBron button.
Yeah, push the LeBron button.
LeBron, we need a triple-double tonight.
Like, speaking of LeBron James, one other point I want to talk about while we're doing the show is the blitz of LeBron commercials and the building of his image now. What did you guys think about that?
I think they're taking advantage of the fact that the whole world hates Dwight Howard. So this is an opportunity to get LeBron back into the hearts of every sports fan in the country. Personally, I think it's working. I love the commercials.
It is. It is.
He
just can't mess it up. He can't mess it up by having some side piece come up talking about LeBron because his whole family man image is going to be.
I love how you tied Dwight Howard into it. I didn't even think about that part.
I'm telling you, they're using it. Like, look, you're not the most hated dude right now, so let's work on getting.
Wait till Dwight's doing it in 3 years. Yeah, it'll be him.
When somebody else does
is really
something.
It's a microcosm of how this country is. I'm not going to go all political on you, but the only thing that this country loves than tearing you down is building you back up.
Right.
All they want to do is just hate on you, and then once you're down below, they're like, all right, we need to make this guy a hero again. That's what they're doing with LeBron.
There's a dude in a cubicle somewhere whose job is to do that. He's just like, we're gonna mudsling and tear you down. Now it's time to build you back up again. Like that's his job.
He's getting paid for it.
I totally agree.
His name is Phil Knight.
It's one part. Yeah, it is Phil Knight. It's one part tear you down. It's one part we need a hero and we love an underdog. And it's one part, the old school family values from the 40s and 50s that we lie to ourselves and tell ourselves that that's still America. So all those things swirl and combine to make those commercials work. Shout out to Phil Knight and Nike. Cut us the check. War Room Sports. We love your ad.
You know what? What's going to be next though with one of the Nike or Samsung ads? Are they going to have LeBron on the road, chilling in the hotel by himself, FaceTiming with his kids? That's going to be next. That's what he really does.
And shout out to Samsung.
They're going to have LeBron in the church baptizing homeless kids.
My favorite LeBron commercial was last year's commercial with the high schools, and he was like, "Yeah, I could have dropped out, but I had motivation." Yeah, dude, you had motivation. You had $200 million waiting for you in the NBA. He's all like, "Yeah, I wanted to go to learn so my kids would learn too." No, you didn't, dude.
High school, dog.
Hold up, though. Meanwhile, Chris and Cliff Paul still got 2-year-old commercials. State Farm.
Cliff Paul has a 2-year-old shape up, though.
He could be hairline. Imagine if he played for the Bulls. But hold on, though.
Jimmy, Chris Paul, seriously, he looked like he gets shaped up with a hot lightsaber. Terrible.
I've always laughed at y'all jokes, but I'm gonna be honest. I actually took the time to pause the commercial and look at his shape up. It's unacceptable to be a millionaire and your hair looks like that.
And he gets a cut all the time, so he must have flown his barber.
See, D Rose just doesn't try.
Nice.
D Rose doesn't try. Chris Paul actually gets a haircut.
He thinks that shit is hot.
Yo, whoever your barber is, whoever cuts Chris Paul's hair, you'll kill yourself. But hold on, though.
Kill him.
Does he still have the little line?
Stab him in his stomach with the lightsaber.
Another question is, yo, what the hell is that on the back of his neck, though, that he's playing with this season? Is he getting, like stimulation during the game? Did y'all see that? What is that?
Oh, yeah, it's like
Derrick Rose.
I'm talking about Derrick Rose.
Yeah, it's like kinesiology tape or something. I don't know what the hell it is. I think it's steroids.
He had a little neck injury, and it's supposed to help.
Because you know damn well, right in the summertime when we get on the basketball court, somebody gonna have that shit on back. Because you know how people try to imitate what they see in the NBA. I'm just waiting to see that. Yo, the AI sleeve. When AI started wearing the sleeves, I went to the courts. You see dudes that don't even play. They're just walking around with the sleeve on, like.
No, the worst thing was the blackout tape, like when Nelly was wearing that shirt.
Oh my God! And that just goes to what you say about our country, yo. We love heroes and we love imitating what we see. So when I see people getting that D Rose tape on the back of their neck in the playground, yo, I'm gonna smack them.
And they won't even know it was medical either, because like Dev said, it was he had that neck soreness from I think game one.
Game one.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's exactly what that was. Now some fool is going to be wearing that, like you said, on the court, and they're gonna.
And you know the worst part, Andy? Nike's gonna make one with a swoosh on it.
And I know a dude who will be wearing it too. I know a guy who will have it on.
Gentlemen, I have a great observation that I wanted to share with all of you about the Los Angeles Clippers. Blake Griffin isn't good.
And that's something that we actually
He's
talked
very
about.
Talented.
We talked about this on our podcast, and I want to get Frank and Andy. I want to get your opinion on this because I just said that Blake Griffin, in my opinion, after watching specifically this first week of the season, he doesn't seem to get any better. Like, I don't know who he works out with in the offseason, maybe Donovan McNabb in Arizona or something, but
he's working out with Matt Leinart.
Yo, he doesn't seem to get any better. He seems to be the same player from Oklahoma. Like, I don't see him add anything to his game. I know Frank said that he supposedly added a jump shot, like a short jumper.
Yeah, he was supposed to have the Tim Duncan jump shot.
Okay, so where's it at?
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't say he had it. That's just
where he was supposed to have it.
Where you at?
He was supposed to.
Where you at?
Andy, what's your opinion? Because I don't think they can go. They go as far as he can take them. I mean, they need him to step up.
I think that's true to an extent. I mean, I think I even said that. I did pick the Clippers. I think he's got a little bit of a turnaround hook now. I never saw that before until this year. But I feel like he's definitely a player who really has no skills. I don't know if I would say he's not good, but he's not nearly as good as he's made out to be. But he doesn't have any skills. He's pure athleticism. Wait till
he's not a bum. He's so athletic that he's a good player. He's a good player just based off athleticism.
Right. Absolutely, but he's perfect for Chris Paul. I mean, to run and catch lobs. DeAndre Jordan's another goofball too, who's acting like he's a legit center. I think. I mean, personally, but it works a little bit with Chris Paul. He kind of covers that up because he's nasty. But Blake Griffin is not a superstar, and that's the same thing we were saying about Derrick Rose. I mean, but more to Blake Griffin. No, remember we said about Derrick Rose last week that he's overrated because of where people have him.
Okay.
Blake Griffin is, and it's worse with him. People think that he's like a top 10 player.
Yeah. And and you know what else? It's disrespectful to Kevin Love because they keep being brought up in the same sentence. And I just feel very bad because I respect Kevin Love, his work ethic, his skill set, and what he does so much. And him having to be in a losing situation that I like that. I want to just smack people so they can feel the pain that Kevin Love
I'm so glad you're saying this. Yo, I had the argument with so many people like Kevin Love or Blake Griffin. Yo, if you think Blake Griffin is better than Kevin Love, like find a balcony and just jump. Like it's not even good for you anymore.
Because that goes to my point earlier about people just don't know because they don't see the guy play. I mean, stuck in a bad situation, but at the end of the day, I mean, marketing has a lot to do with this. Blake Griffin is put in our face, like.
But he has a less desirable game too, though. Like he's more of an old school. He has some post moves. He shoots the ball. Blake Griffin, you know, kills Pau Gasol's entire family when he dunks it on him.
Yeah.
And people love that.
The only thing more overrated than Blake Griffin is the Blake Griffin dunk. Yo, he did not jump over a car. He jumped over the
headlights.
Yeah,
the pass by Baron Davis was better.
Yeah, that was the best part of the whole dunk was Baron Davis's pass.
But his whole endorsement career is based on that dunk.
Yeah.
I
I like him in the commercials personally.
I like his dry sense of humor. He's good.
Yeah, his commercials are hot.
But see, this goes back to my theory of your best player can't be light skinned.
In all seriousness, though, the part about Blake Griffin and people like him is that, like you guys were saying, he's such a good athlete that they rely on their athleticism and they don't learn their game. So like when you have a guy like
Grady.
Yeah, like a guy like Anthony Davis this season is showing you what happens when you work on your game. People were saying this dude had no offensive game coming out of college, which was probably not true to begin with.
The other night.
But then this year he came with just an offensive game. It just happened. That's what he did in the offseason.
Anthony Davis.
Okay, yeah.
It's funny because I don't want to hit you. I don't want to hit everybody with the back in my day, but back in my day, players like Bird, Magic, Jordan. It seems like when the off season would come and the new season started, they would always add something to their game. So it was obvious that they were working hard in the off season. Michael Jordan with the turnaround. People don't remember that. That became his patented shot, but he didn't even have that initially.
He didn't have that, yeah.
Magic Johnson got a hook shot. Where the hell did he get a hook shot from? He never had. I mean, Larry Bird with the step back. Like these are like become like signature plays for these guys, but they weren't a part of their game initially. And they always seem to add something to their game in the off season.
To your point, to specifically the Clippers, I think that with them, they have all of the components to be a very competitive team on the perimeter, and even as far as their bench is concerned. But the key to them, even more so than Blake Griffin, as I said on our podcast, is DeAndre Jordan. I don't think DeAndre Jordan is ever going to be an offensive juggernaut, but I think he can work to get his free throw shooting into the 60s, low 70s. I think he can work to put a little hook shot into his game. And more importantly, I think he can do the little things and be a better version of Tyson Chandler. Just be more serious on the defensive end, be more serious on the rebounding. And I think that would be an anchor for that team. And then you see the emergence, hopefully, of Blake Griffin.
I don't even think he has to be better than Tyson Chandler. I think if you flip-flop Tyson Chandler with DeAndre Jordan, their team is better.
Yeah, but now that's a matter of skill and what Tyson Chandler does with his talent. I think DeAndre is the more talented player.
Experience.
I think that Tyson Chandler is the better player.
Because Tyson Chandler, if you remember when he first came in the league, I think he found what he needs to do. Like he tried to be an offensive. People
thought he was going to be great.
Yeah,
like some great like a go-to guy.
But he figured out how to make a living in this league by playing great defense and rebounding. Like he stopped trying to be Hakeem Olajuwon. Like he just tried to like shoot the ball all the time. But he figured out what'll keep him around in this league. And I think to your point, B. Austin, that's what DeAndre has to do. I don't even know whether he understands what he is as a player right now. And, but the Clippers do have talent because when you look at their bench, they have a bench and everything.
Yeah.
But my biggest problem is still with Blake Griffin, yo. I swear, because he always tries to bring the ball up court. Like it seems as though he always trying to work on his handle. Like, what are you doing?
That's what he's bringing to the game, his new handle. Hey, let's wrap this up on the Houston Rockets because they've had a few things going this week. Like you mentioned earlier in the show, Dwight Howard he looks rejuvenated. James Harden is doing what he's supposed to do, but before the season started, Jeremy Lin actually lost a starting role to Patrick Beverley. Patrick Beverley gets hurt in the first game. Jeremy Lin is playing pretty well right now. So what do you guys think about the Houston Rockets overall?
Contender. Middle of the road team, very entertaining. Will make the playoffs, but definitely a
so
pretender.
Disrespectful.
Definitely a pretender at this point. And Jeremy Lin, shout out to him. I love the American Dream story, but he's like most other 6'3" scoring guards, given that can master scoring out of the pick and roll. I mean, he's nothing exciting. And on defense, I can see why Beverly jacked his spot because he can't stop any of the panel right here.
But I think the bench is a good place for him. When Beverly's playing,
it was a great move.
Yeah, when Beverly's playing, that bench is going to be great for Lin because Lin can actually come.
Perfect fit.
Yeah.
He can't D up.
And he can do
anybody
what he does against second unit.
Yeah, he can score
I'm a
the
James
ball.
Harden fan. Like I said, the biggest beard in the business. You know what I'm saying? So I'm definitely a Harden fan. I don't like when he tricks things off in the playoffs, but I always blame that on youth. And I think that he'll grow into his role as being a superstar. Dwight Howard, being objective, Dwight is probably the most talented and athletic center in the game. I'm not going to get into his homosexuality, his softness, and all of the stuff that I usually do. But he's a great addition for them. And playing him and Asik in the lineup at the same time, that's the best rim protection I've ever seen.
Until you get a guy who spreads the floor and shoots the ball, because then Howard looks like he doesn't know what he's doing. Where am I supposed to go?
The only thing you got to do against that lineup is go small. A Zeke and a Howard, you just go small, just spread them out.
He's no Spencer Hawks.
Yo,
So I actually think.
Quick observation: do you like anybody, yo? Because you just basically slandered the entire NBA this episode. I haven't heard you say anything positive about anybody except for James Harden as a dope beard.
James Harden is my homie. The boy up in the Golden States, the Curry son, is the truth. Love watching him. Very entertaining. Him and Chris.
But
Paul
they can't win with him because he's light skinned.
Hey,
the guy said it.
You can compete, but you can't win a championship with your best player being light skinned.
And their second best player is light skinned too.
Oh, they're really in
trouble.
They're going to have trouble.
But no, I going back to that point, to the Lynn point, I agree with Andy. I think that coming off the bench is actually a great move for Houston and Jeremy Lin. Because he's coming off the bench, it doesn't necessarily mean he's not going to get more minutes or the important minutes in the game. Mm-hmm. And like you said, coming off the bench, he has more of a green light to do what he does, which is score. Patrick Beverley he's like, those lineups when you have an ultra-talented lineup and you throw like a Keith Bogans in at the 2 because he's going to play defense. He's going to, do the things that need to be done. You don't need a Jeremy Lin in the lineup with the guys that they have starting. So I think it's a great move.
He benefits from Dwight Howard, though, too. I mean, it's one of those scoring point guards. I mean, Jameer Nelson was a scoring point guard. Mm-hmm. He wasn't really much of a pass first guy. And I think the only reason Nelson started for so many years in this league is because he played with Dwight Howard. But, the Asik and Howard thing is a really good combo, I think, and it's definitely going to help their guard game.
I have the exact opposite opinion of that. I think their season actually depends on what they do with Asik because they need to trade him. Because him playing 15 minutes a game does nothing for this team, and he's such an asset that people want. It really, I don't understand how Omer Asik has not been traded for Ryan Anderson yet. I don't know how that hasn't happened. It makes so much sense for both teams, and it would just make both teams a whole lot better. But before I stop talking about the Houston Rockets, we were talking about Steph Curry. Charles Barkley needs to stop hanging out with Lamar Odom. Klay Thompson is not better than Steph Curry.
That was the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard.
Barkley. I like Barkley. I respect Barkley. I like a lot of. I often agree with him. That was some Lamar Odom.
Yeah, that's where you want to say something groundbreaking.
Molly talk.
Like you're ahead of the fold or whatever, and then you just say something really ignorant. Mm-hmm. You're like,
you gotta understand that's what Charles is going to do. Like Charles is going to say for every 3 intelligent things Charles says, he's going to say 2 more things that are idiotic. So
I think you got the numbers flip-flop, doggy.
Austin, all that means is he was closer to Clay's dad than he was.
Dad.
That's
exactly.
He's
acting a fool right now.
If you go back and listen, he just throws a bunch of craziness like that up against the wall. But then what happens is no one remembers the fact that he says that until he's proven right. And then he's going to throw it in your face over and over again. Remember I said XYZ? Because he called LeBron the best player in the league after like 2 games of LeBron's career. And
hey, Jimmy, we talked about that the other day when we were talking about basketball. We talked about how Charles used to talk like that when he played basketball. Any power forward that cracked him any particular night, Charles says, like, he's like one of the best power forwards in ever. He said that about Derek Coleman.
He said about Derek Coleman, Kevin McHale.
Because he cracked you last night. Like, come on, Charles.
He's not the only one, though.
Derek Coleman was tough, though, when he won it.
Rick Bucher did say that Russell Westbrook was better than Kevin Durant, and that was like last year. So,
Russell Westbrook's not even better than James Harden.
He is better than James Harden.
No.
That is arguable. I don't even know which side. I'm going to go with James Harden because James Harden memorabilia.
The next episode will be called
He's better
Russell
than James
Westbrook
Harden 2 weeks ago.
James Harden, and we'll talk about that.
Andy and I have had this argument for like 2 years. Ever since
this
the
is
James
all
Harden
going to
trade,
boil
I've
down
been
to
telling
who
him
has
that
a
his
beard.
boy Russell
So
Westbrook
notice
is
that the guy that
trash.
doesn't have a beard likes Westbrook, and all the guys with beards support Harden. So
I got a little bit. It's coming in.
know.
Don't pick on me.
I think I might be on the Westbrook side of that argument.
It's not.
Oh,
my hair is
Dad, you
not
said
dark.
you Westbrook?
I think I might be on the Westbrook side of that
Oh,
argument.
I smell a versus tomorrow morning.
Yes.
Because,
You know what everybody's gonna say? It's popular to bash Westbrook.
Yeah, you can't
I
have
saw
that.
really
versus.
can't
Westbrook
ask
score in
the
the
people.
playoffs too.
Yeah,
You can't have that versus because
Yeah.
I'm a fan. I'm a fan of both gentlemen.
I like them both too.
But you know what the
both of them
people-
are,
it's-
now
it's
I'm not a
popular
fan
to
of
bash
Westbrook off the court
Westbrook.
because of the way he dresses. I find that unacceptable.
but see, that's the
on
problem. The
court,
problem is people start taking
hate
this
Westbrook.
sartorial game into account.
No. But people hate Westbrook so
Because,
they
but
hate
you know,
him.
also
Because Kevin
people
Durant is
love
the
Kevin
good guy.
Durant.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and they
exactly.
think Westbrook
Good
is.
cop, bad cop. And
You
he
should be
dresses,
passing it to him like he's not talented
Yeah.
as well.
Even if
dresses
I
like
pick-
Boy George.
Yo, we about to go like 15 minutes.
Anyway, man, listen. This has been another episode of Court Vision. As you can see, we're just rolling because we love talking about basketball. Leave a comment on the video. Let us know what you think about any of the crazy topics we discussed this night. Whether you can win a championship with a light-skinned player as your best player. What do you think about Houston? Michael Carter Williams. What do you think is going on with the Clippers and the Miami Heat?
Spineless Dwight.
We talked
Michael
about a lot
Carter
of topics.
Farmer.
Again, before we get out of here, though, Frank, how can guys get a hold of you and the Sports Kings?
Really is you just hit sports-kings.com. Don't forget the dash. We got Pass the Pill, especially for NBA. My man Andy Flint, all over that stuff. Recently did a Steph Curry versus Kyrie Irving versus. Very interesting, I thought.
How did that come out, Andy? I mean, you.
Oh, I
I
wrote
didn't
that
do
one.
it. Frank wrote that.
I wrote
Frank
that one.
wrote that one. Okay, Frank.
Yeah.
Well, how'd that turn out?
I figured Kyrie won because Steph's light skinned.
Yeah,
There you
no,
go.
I
There
thought
you
about
go.
taking that in consideration. I ended up going with Steph Curry because, I had to show the light-skinned brother some love.
Got you. Anyway, and Dev, tell the people how they can hear everything we're doing.
WarRoomSports.com. Just go there. Don't be lazy. Click all around. Explore, and you'll find everything that we're doing.
Absolutely. So until next time, visit sports-kings.com or warroomsports.com. This has been another episode of Court Vision. As we always say, don't accept mediocrity and be steadfast in the war against ignorance. We'll see you chumps on top.
Yo, shout out to Chris Paul's barber, Luke Skywalker.
Kuwait is the war.